Welcome back. In our last lesson, we learned about how to say while, as well as a few related grammar forms. And in this lesson, I'll teach you how to say in order to. Now, this will be a pretty big lesson. And just like before, I'll also be teaching several more advanced ways to do this. First, here are all of the topics we'll learn about in this lesson. Okay, now let's get started with the first form. The verb 위하다 can be used to mean in order to or for. Depending on how it's used in a sentence, it can become either 위해서 or wihan. 위해서 is used like an adverb to describe an action verb, and wihan is used as an adjective to describe a noun. Note that 서 in 위해서 is optional. 위해서 and wihan can be used both with nouns or with verbs. First, let's look at how to use 위해서. This is made in the same way as wihan. For nouns, attach 위해서 after a noun using the object marker with a space. So 친구 would become 친구를 위해서. For verbs, attach 기 위해서 after an action verb stem with a space. So 하다 would become 하기 위해서.
점심을 먹기 위해서 나갔어요.
I went out to eat lunch, meaning I went out in order to eat lunch.
선물을 사기 위해 돈이 필요해요.
I need money in order to buy a present.
시험을 잘 보기 위해서는 공부를 해야 해요.
In order to do well on the test, I need to study.
뭐를 위해 이걸 하는 거예요?
What are you doing this for?
동생을 위해 TV를 켰어요.
I turned on the TV for my younger sibling.
엄마를 위해 호텔을 예약할 거예요.
I'll reserve a hotel for my mom. 위한 is used to describe something, a noun, that is for something. You can think of 위한 as meaning that is for. Here's how to use 위한. This is made in the same way as 위해서. With nouns, attach 위한 after a noun using the object marker with a space. So 친구 would become 친구를 위한. For verbs, attach 기 위한 after an action verb stem with a space. So 하다 would become 하기 위한. Again, 위해서 describes an action verb, so in order to do something, while 위한 describes a noun, so for something.
영어를 공부하기 위한 책을 샀어요.
I bought a book for studying English.
요리하기 위한 시간이 필요해요.
I need time for cooking.
집을 사기 위한 돈을 저축해야 해요.
I have to save up the money for buying a house.
이것은 엄마를 위한 선물이에요.
This is a gift for mom.
아이들을 위한 공원을 만들 거예요.
I'll make a park for children.
이게 다 저를 위한 거예요?
All of these are for me? The form 으려고, meaning intending or trying, can also be used to say in order to, just like 위해서. You can think of A 으려고 B as literally meaning intending to do A, I do B. More naturally, this can translate as I do B in order to do A. Note that because the 으려고 form means intending, it also can't be used when making commands or suggestions. This is because giving a command, such as saying you're intending to do something and do something, would not make logical sense. So to use it, attach 으려고 directly after a verb stem that ends with a consonant, or attach 려고 if it ends with a vowel. So 하다 would become 하려고, and 먹다 would become 먹으려고. There are some common verb exceptions, and you can pause the video for a couple here.
잠을 자려고 누웠어요.
I lie down to sleep. Literally, intending to sleep, I lied down.
차를 사려고 돈을 모으고 있어요.
I'm saving up money to buy a car.
청소를 하려고 옷을 갈아입었어요.
I changed my clothes to do cleaning.
운동을 하려고 일찍 일어났어요.
I woke up early to exercise.
친구를 만나려고 도서관에 갔어요.
I went to the library to meet a friend.
버스를 타려고 뛰고 있어요.
I'm running to take the bus.
지금 가려고 나왔어요.
I came outside to go there now. The form 으로 can also be used to mean in order to, but is only used with action verbs that show movement, such as 가다, 오다, etc. However, while 으로 means in order to, it's used more simply to mean going to do or coming to do, or just to do, depending on the verb. Note that the verb that attaches directly to 으로 can't be a movement verb. So to use it, attach 으로 directly after an action verb stem that ends with a consonant, or attach 로 if it ends with a vowel. So 하다 becomes 하로, and 먹다 becomes 먹으로. Then add a verb that shows movement. So 하다 could become 하러 가다. Some verb exceptions apply, and you can pause the video for a couple here. Here are just a few example sentences.
철수는 잠을 자러 갔어요.
철수 went to go sleep.
저를 만나러 오세요.
Come to meet me.
영화 보러 갈래요?
Do you want to go to see a movie?
빵 사러 가게에 갔어요.
I went to the store to buy bread. The verb ending 게, which is commonly used to create adverbs, can also be used to mean so that. This can have the same usage as 도록, which we'll learn next. For example, you can use this form to say, I bought a new book so that I can study Korean. This 게 is commonly seen in the grammar forms 게하다 and 게 만들다, which mean to make or to let someone do something. This course will not be reviewing those two forms, but there are other lessons on my channel. To use it, attach 게 directly after a verb stem, so 하다 would become 하게. Optionally, attach 금. This adds more emphasis, but is less common in everyday speech.
철수가 할 수 있게 도와줬어요.
I helped 철수 so that he could do it.
늦지 않게 일찍 잘 거예요.
I'll go to sleep early so that I won't be late.
나중에 먹을 수 있게 많이 만들었어요.
I made a lot so that I can eat it later.
깨끗해 보이게 청소를 했어요.
I cleaned so that it looks clean.
내일 옷을 입을 수 있게 꺼내주세요.
Please take out my clothes so that I can wear them tomorrow. The verb ending 도록 has several uses, and we'll take a look at each of them one at a time. First, let's look at how 도록 can be used to mean so that. This usage of 도록 is similar to 게. It can also replace 게 in other forms such as 게 하다 and 게 만들다. However, 도록 sounds more formal. To use it, attach 도록 directly after a verb stem. So 하다 becomes 하도록.
바로 시작할 수 있도록 준비해 주세요.
Please prepare so that we can start right away.
한 번에 합격하도록 최선을 다할게요.
I'll do my best so that I pass in one time.
감기에 걸리지 않도록 마스크를 써주세요.
Please wear a mask so that you don't catch a cold.
내년에도 한국에 갈 수 있도록 돈을 모으고 있어요.
I'm saving up money so that I can go to Korea next year too.
아이도 이해하기 쉽도록 재미있게 이야기했어요.
I talked amusingly so that it would be easy for the child to also understand. The form 도록 can also be used to mean so much that. It's used in this way to mean that something is to the extent that or until something happens. The usage is the same, but the translation may be different. This usage of 도록 is also commonly found in idiomatic expressions.
그건 질리도록 먹어서 더 먹고 싶지 않아요.
I ate that so much that I'm sick of it, so I don't want to eat any more.
미치도록 보고 싶어요.
I want to see you like crazy, meaning so much that I'm going crazy.
동생이 아침이 되도록 들어오질 않아요.
My younger sibling hasn't come back home, and it's morning.
제가 죽도록 좋아하는 가수예요.
They're a singer I like to death, meaning so much that I could die.
1년이 지나도록 책 한 권을 다 못 읽었어요.
I couldn't finish reading one book until a year had passed. 도록 can also be attached directly after a noun and becomes 토록. 토록 has the same meaning as attaching 만큼 after certain words, but the words it can be used with are more limited. However, this form is not commonly used outside of several specific words that contain 토록. Simply learn these words as you find them. Knowing this form is only helpful to recognize words with 토록. In addition, words with 토록 sound more formal or poetic.
하늘이 이토록 아름다울 수 있어요?
Can the sky be this beautiful?
오늘은 영희가 그토록 기다리던 크리스마스예요.
Today is the Christmas that Youngie had waited so much for.
종일토록 비가 그치길 기다렸어요.
I waited the whole day for the rain to stop.
오늘을 영원토록 기억할 거예요.
I'll remember today for all eternity. 도록하다 can be used in the same way as 개하다, but also has one additional usage. It can be used when making a formal speech or when announcing something. When used in this way, 도록하다 can mean to make sure to do. To use it, attach 도록 directly after a verb stem, so 하다 becomes 하도록. Then attach 하다 and conjugate it. This usage is not a sentence connector, but here are a few example sentences.
오늘 끝내도록 할게요.
I'll make sure to finish it today.
10시에 잠을 자도록 할게요.
I'll make sure to sleep at 10 o'clock.
그러면 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
Then I will begin.
못 먹는 사람이 없도록 해주세요.
Please make it so that everyone can eat, meaning so that there's no one who can't eat. The form 는 대에 is used to say that it takes money or time in order to do something. It's commonly used together with the verbs 걸리다, meaning to take time, and 들다, meaning to cost money. To use it, attach 는 대 directly after an action verb stem, so 하다 becomes 하는데. Then, optionally attach the particle 에. This is less common. Note that if the verb stem ends with the consonant lir, remove it. So 놀다 becomes 노는데.
밥을 먹는데 10분이 걸렸어요.
It took 10 minutes to eat.
준비하는데 얼마나 걸려요?
How long does it take to get ready?
여기로 옮기는데 10만 원이 들었어요.
It took 100,000 won to move it here.
한 끼 먹는데 5만 원을 썼어요.
I spent 50,000 won to eat one meal.
한글을 배우는데 3시간이 걸렸어요.
It took 3 hours to learn Hangul. The form 는데에 can also be used to mean in order to with other verbs besides 걸리다 and 들다. The literal meaning with this usage is in the case of doing, or in the matter of doing, or simply when doing. When used in this way, it can be either 는데에 or 는데에 있어서.
운동은 다이어트를 하는데 도움이 돼요.
Exercise is helpful when dieting.
공부를 하는 데에도 돈이 필요해요.
Even when studying, you need money.
케첩은 청소하는 데 사용할 수도 있어요.
You can also use ketchup when cleaning.
연습은 자신감을 키우는 데 좋아요.
Practicing is good for building up confidence.
피아노를 배우는 데에 있어 도움이 됐어요.
It was helpful for learning piano. The form goza can be used in a similar way as the form urogu to mean that someone intends or desires to do something. This can translate as in order to or simply to. goza is formal and is not used in everyday speech. Instead, use urogu for everyday speech and writing. To use it, attach goza after an action verb stem, so 하다 becomes 하고자.
배우가 되고자 할리우드로 왔어요.
I came to Hollywood desiring to become an actor.
봉사를 하고자 아프리카로 갔어요.
I went to Africa to do service.
다이어트를 하고자 병원을 찾았어요.
I found a hospital desiring to go on a diet.
더 큰 집으로 이사를 하고자 돈을 모으고 있어요.
I'm saving up money to move to a bigger house.
새 차를 사고자 다른 아르바이트를 시작했어요.
I started another part-time job to buy a new car. The form 다는 것이 can also be used like the form 으려고 to mean that someone intended to do something but did something else instead. However, it typically is only used to say that the speaker intended to do something, not another person. Because of this, 다는 것이 can translate as I was intending or going to, but instead I. You can think of 다는 것이 as having the same meaning as 으려고 했는데, but with more emphasis that you intended to do something. In speech, 다는 것이 can also become 다는 게. The meaning is the same. 다는 것이 is less common in everyday speech. Instead, use 으려고 했는데. To use it, conjugate an action verb into the plain form in the present tense or past tense and attach 는 것이. So 하다 becomes 한다는 것이. Then finish the sentence with an action verb in the past tense.
잠깐 나갔다가 온다는 것이 2시간을 나가 있었어요.
I was going to just go out for a short time and come back, but I was out for 2 hours.
30분만 잔다는 게 3시간 넘게 잤어요.
I was only going to sleep for 30 minutes, but I slept over 3 hours.
우유만 사러 간다는 게 정신을 차려보니 200불을 썼네요.
I only went to buy milk, but when I came to my senses, I realized I'd spent $200.
눈으로 보기만 한다는 게 실수로 만져버렸어요.
I was only going to look with my eyes, but by accident, I touched it.
살짝 도와주기만 한다는 게 거의 제가 다 한 거나 다름없네요.
I was only going to help a little bit, but it's practically as if I did almost all of it. The form tap시고 has several uses. It can be used like the form 다는 것이 to mean that someone intended to do something but did something else instead. It can translate as I was intending or going to, but instead I. However, tap시고 is often used in this way to express sarcasm or disappointment, such as when you failed and made something worse. It's used to talk negatively about something. For example, A tap시고 B means I was just going or trying to do A, but instead I messed up and did B. To use it, conjugate an action verb into the plain form in the present tense and then attach 비읍 시고. So 하다 would become 한답시고. Then finish the sentence with an action verb in the past tense. Note that the verb 이다 becomes 이랍시고 and 아니다 becomes 아니랍시고.
영어를 공부한답시고 미국에 와서 여행만 했어요.
I was going to study English, but instead I came to America and only traveled.
잠깐 쉰답시고 케이크를 만들었다가 장사를 시작했어요.
I was going to rest for a little bit, but I made a cake and then started a business.
친구를 도와준답시고 오디션에 갔다가 혼자만 캐스팅이 됐대요.
I heard they were going to help a friend and went to an audition, but they were cast alone, meaning and not the friend. tap시고 can also be used with descriptive verbs. When used with descriptive verbs, this form's meaning slightly changes. Instead of intending or going to do, it means that someone thinks or says or hears that something is a certain way, but it turns out to be something disappointing. This is essentially a short version of 타고 합시고, which uses a quoting form. It's used to talk negatively about something. For example, A tap시고 B means someone thinks A, but it turns out to be B, which is disappointing. Again, remember that 이다 becomes 이랍시고 and 아니다 becomes 아니랍시고.
가방이 예쁘답시고 샀는데 무거워서 들지를 못해요.
I bought the bag thinking it was pretty, but it's heavy, so I can't carry, meaning use it.
철수는 바쁘답시고 연락도 안 받더니 친구랑 놀고 있네요.
철수 said he was busy and didn't answer his calls, but he's playing with his friend.
친구가 선물이랍시고 사왔는데 뭔지 모르겠어요.
My friend said they bought and brought a gift for me, but I don't know what it is. Because tap시고 is used to talk negatively about something, it's also commonly used to downplay something that you did yourself. This can be used when being modest or for sarcasm. This is the most common usage of tap시고 in everyday speech. When used this way, it's common to add an extra action verb after this form in order to express exactly what you tried to do and failed. This extra action verb will often end in a form meaning but or however, such as 대 or 더니. For example, this will be in the form A tap시고 B C. I was going or intending to do A, so I did B, but instead I messed up and did C.
돈을 아낀답시고 걸었더니 다리가 아파요.
I walked to save money, but now my legs hurt.
다이어트를 한답시고 종일 굶었더니 힘이 없어요.
I was going to diet, so I didn't eat all day, but now I feel weak.
모델이랑 똑같이 입는답시고 샀는데 전혀 다르네요.
I was trying to dress like the model and bought it, but it's completely different.
절약한답시고 전기차로 바꿨는데 돈이 더 많이 나가요.
I was trying to save money and change to an electric car, but I'm losing money. uromun is a combination of the forms u려고, meaning intending, and 으면, meaning if, and literally means if intending to do. More naturally, uromun can translate as if you're intending or going to do. It's used to say the conditions for something, if someone is intending to do something. It's commonly used with expressions like need to or have to. For example, A 으려면 B can be used to mean if you're going to do A, then you need B. Or more simply, if you want to do A, you need B. To use it, attach uromun directly after an action verb stem that ends with a consonant, or attach 려면 if it ends with a vowel. So 하다 would become 하려면, and 먹다 would become 먹으려면. Some exceptions apply. You can pause the video for a few.
버스를 타려면 어디로 가요?
Where do I go if I want to take the bus?
제 시간에 도착하려면 지금 나가야 해요.
If you want to arrive in time, you have to leave now.
그 식당에서 먹으려면 한 달 전에 예약을 해야 해요.
If you want to eat at that restaurant, you have to make a reservation 1 month before.
같이 앉아서 가려면 일찍 사는 게 좋겠어요.
If you want to go there sitting together, you should buy it early. Although grammatically incorrect, 우려 is also sometimes pronounced with an additional 리을 sound. This can become 을려 when used after a consonant or 리을려 after a vowel. For example, the form 으려고 can become 을려고 or 리을려고, and the form 으려면 can become 을려면 or 리을려면.
물고기를 잡으려면 바다로 가야 해요.
If you want to catch fish, you have to go to the ocean. 으려다가 is a combination of the forms 으려고, meaning intending, and 하다가, meaning while doing, and means that something happened while intending or going to do something. This means that what someone was intending to do was interrupted by the second action and they didn't finish. For example, A 으려다가 B can translate as while trying to do A, B happened. Or in the middle of trying to do A, B. To use it, attach 으려다가 directly after an action verb stem that ends with a consonant, or attach 려다가 if it ends with a vowel. So 하다 would become 하려다가, and 먹다 would become 먹으려다가. Optionally, 가 can be removed. This is less common, but has the same meaning. And some exceptions may apply. You can pause the video here. Here's some examples.
혼자 해보려다가 포기했어요.
I tried to do it alone, but gave up.
날아오는 공을 막으려다가 넘어졌어요.
I tried to stop the ball flying toward me and fell down.
집에 가려다가 돌아왔어요.
I tried to go home, but came back.
하나만 사려다가 몇 개 없길래 다 샀어요.
I was only going to buy one, but because there were only a few, I bought them all. 으려던 참 is a combination of the forms 으려고, meaning intending, 던, meaning the past tense, and the word 참, meaning time or situation, and means right at the time when someone was intending to do something. 으려던 참 is used with the particle 에 or with the verb 이다. When used with the particle 에, it means right or just when I was about to or going to do. And when used with the verb 이다, it simply means I am or I was about to or going to do. Alternatively, this form can also be 으려는 참. This is less common. To use it, attach 으려던 참 directly after an action verb stem that ends with a consonant, or attach 려던 참 if it ends with a vowel. So 하다 would become 하려던 참, and 먹다 would become 먹으려던 참. Then attach the particle 에 when adding an action verb, or attach the verb 이다 to finish the sentence. Again, some exceptions may apply. You can pause the video for those.
잠이 들려던 참에 전화가 왔어요.
Right when I was going to fall asleep, I got a phone call.
지금 점심 먹으려던 참인데 같이 먹을래요?
I'm just about to eat lunch now, but do you want to eat together?
계산하려던 참에 유통기한이 지난 걸 발견했어요.
Right as I was about to pay, I discovered it was past the expiration date.
나가려던 참에 갑자기 비가 와서 약속 시간을 바꿨어요.
Right when I was about to go out, it suddenly rained, so I changed the appointment time. Alternatively, use ta in the same way as 참. Their meaning is the same with only a slight nuance difference. Ta has a more written or formal nuance and is less common.
포기하고 가려던 차에 전화가 왔어요.
Right when I was going to give up and go, I got a phone call. And that's all for this lesson. Remember to take your time, take lots of notes, and practice everything in this lesson before moving on. And I'll see you again in the next lesson. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.